Things just took a major turn on the Jonathan Kuminga free agency front as, of course, all eyes are on the Warriors' rising star and his impending free agency given his up-and-down relationship with the organization in terms of getting minutes, being in the rotation, his expectations. And while a lot of Warriors fans and folks in ownership are big fans of Jonathan Kuminga and want to see him back on the roster, back on the team next year, there are some things that have now been revealed that Jonathan Kuminga is looking for. Now, in our most recent video, I dove into some of the comments and expectations around the league, but now we know the specifics in terms of what Kuminga is looking for in this year's free agency and how the Warriors can go about providing that. So much to break down out here in this video. But before we do, folks, again, appreciate everyone tuning into the Warriors Digest videos, and if you're a part of the 75% of our viewers that haven't hit the subscribe button just yet, and you want to stay up to date with everything going on with this Golden State Warriors team, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because we're delivering daily, sometimes twice a day, Golden State Warriors news out here on the channel. We don't want you to miss a single thing, but let's jump into it because we broke down some latest Jonathan Kuminga updates, and on the most recent video, this is essentially what was really dove into, as essentially Anthony Slater revealed that Kuminga, league sources said, hasn't slammed the door shut on a return. Restricted free agency doesn't really allow it. The Warriors have the ultimate control regardless of his desire, but his comfort about the idea is dependent on several factors. Then there's a month of conversation, eventual negotiations ahead with competing agendas in the mix. So basically, in yesterday's video, we broke this down and took a look at everything going on with Jonathan Kuminga because, of course, he was in and out of the rotation, not just over the past couple seasons, but even in the playoffs this year where he played so well. Steve Kerr still refrained from having him as a bona fide guy out there in the rotation for this team until, the Minnesota Timberwolves series where he started cooking. But basically, Jonathan Kuminga, all of the banter, all of the reports that have leaked and come out is saying he wants a bigger role, he wants this, he wants that, and a lot of the expectations were that he was going to be on his way out. So hearing that report yesterday, it's like, okay, he's open to staying, he's open to figuring things out, and now we know the specifics in terms of what he is looking for in order to stay with the Golden State Warriors. So we'll take a look at this because it's a very interesting turn in terms of what's going on. Because Kuminga, league sources have said, is still envisions himself as becoming an all-star, not fitting into the ever-moving mid-tier rotation role. Report went on to say that he wants to be a featured player in an NBA offense and chase that 20-point and beyond dreams he spent his life chasing. And the last week of his fourth season tasting, Slater continued, there isn't an irreconcilable player and coach or player and organization personality clash. League sources have said this is all about finding the contract and opportunity that Jonathan Kuminga craves. Now, this is a very, very interesting turn in regards to everything that's been going on with this Warriors team because we heard the nuggets of it, the report that we broke down yesterday, but now we know truly what Jonathan Kuminga is looking for. He wants, of course, the contract to, compensate him with the level of potential that he certainly has and the flashes of brilliance he's shown being on this Warriors team. Of course, this season, in an up and down run. And someone mentioned adding minutes per game in the stat graphics. Definitely need to add that here. It's auto-generated, so we'll get that fixed up. But basically, this season, averaging 15 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, 2.2 assists. Of course, a lot of Warriors fans would be more excited if the three-point percentage shooting was higher, and especially from the corners, but that has been better in seasons past. But at just 22 years old, he has shown so much promise, so much excitement, and we see the criticism, not just in our comment section, but on Twitter, on Reddit, on all these different places about how people are feeling in terms of, his actual utilization by Steve Kerr. Some people are going out, fire Steve Kerr. There's a huge hive of that, and people, especially with how he's managed, not just Jonathan Kuminga, but other young guys in the past as well. But I won't dive into that whole can of worms out here in this video. But it is a signal in terms of how fans are feeling about Kuminga, his upside, and all of that. Because watching the games, there is that all-star potential. He is not ludicrous. He is not insane for saying these types of things in terms of wanting to be an all-star player. And, of course, no one's insane for having those beliefs and wanting that, that future for themselves. I mean, a guy like Moody, if he was coming out and saying these things, no one would be like, hey, you're stupid or you're crazy. But Jonathan Kuminga has shown those true flashes of being, hey, that all-star caliber guy. And everyone's talking about, hey, Steph Curry, he needs that extra scorer to come out and be in the mix, be on this roster alongside with him. And, of course, the team has Jimmy Butler, but he is used in specific settings. He's not going to be that Jimmy Butler that every single night is coming out, game in, game out. Steve Kerr needs another scoring option out there on this team. And Jonathan Kuminga wants that role. Wasn't gifted by Steve Kerr in this most recent season, but it is what the Warriors need. So that's where that conflict is really coming into play and getting into the mix. And frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if ownership, there's some stuff out there on that, because I brought up this quote before as well. Joe Lacob loves Jonathan Kuminga and talked about how there's people sitting behind him, and they talked about Jonathan Kuminga was the guy that really stole the show for this Warriors team. He had a tough situation with DMPs from the last series, and to bounce back from that, give him a lot of credit. I'm a big fan of his. So that's where things get very, very intriguing, because what Kaminga wants is what the Warriors need, and if he can deliver upon it, if he believes he can deliver upon it, the ownership believes he can deliver upon it, then we're going from a point where things look desperate in terms of Jonathan Kuminga actually returning with the Golden State Warriors just, 4 weeks ago, especially before that Minnesota Timberwolves series, to now Kuminga coming back to the Golden State Warriors team is very, very fitting. And frankly, look at the playoff scoring for this Warriors team. Jonathan Kuminga in just 8 games played, only one start of 15 points per game behind Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. He showed that level of production. He's a guy that needs to be nurtured. He needs to be developed. He needs to be put in the right situation to have that impact on the Golden State Warriors moving forward. Now, the one area, because again, in a vacuum, you want Kaminga back. You just don't want to let him walk for nothing. The one thing that might have some reservations, and legitimate reservations, is the contract size, price, and everything that's going on. Because again, he's a 15-point per game scorer. At 22 years old, that is still very solid, but the Warriors are in a very sticky situation cap-wise, because you have 55, or we'll look at next season, close to $60 million to Steph, you have $54 million to Jimmy Butler, and then, of course, you have $25 million to Draymond Green, and Buddy Hield's locked in a nice contract, $10 million per year. A few guys out there, Jonathan Kuminga, that will be, extension incoming, so don't mind that money, but Moses Moody, $11 million, what a great contract extension that is there, but, a few guys locked in, but you have a lot of top-heavy money, and you have to look at this Warriors team and say, if you're giving all this money to Jonathan Kuminga, you enter that luxury tax and say, this is the roster we believe can win a championship with the Golden State Warriors during the twilight of Steph Curry's career. Because I'll say it on every video, any season you have Steph Curry playing at the level he's playing right now, despite his age, despite whatever's going on, you can win a championship. And that's just the real, the truth of it, right? He is a capable player if you put the right pieces around it. But Jonathan Kuminga, you have to trust in an elevated role. He will be able to fulfill the desires, the hopes, the dreams that Golden State Warriors fans have in terms of being a player that can take the load off of Steph over the course of the regular season. Because we know in the playoffs, Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, if they're healthy, they can go off on any given night. But for an 82-game season, it can't be Jimmy Butler, can't be Steph Curry, game in, game out as the 1A, 1B options. You need Jonathan Kuminga to really step into that zone of a player for the Golden State Warriors if he's going to be paid that money, because you're not going to have a ton of flexibility you're not going to have a ton of flexibility in zone right as is if you don't have that rocket. But basically, Jonathan Kuminga, getting that money, getting that bag, you have to believe in it. I think a lot of Warriors fans believe in it. Joe Lacob believes in it, and just need to get Steve Kerr on board, and then things will work out. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Do you want to see Jonathan Kuminga back, even if it is for a significant salary? Let me know in the comment section. You guys are the best to make it as far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.